So when I welded on this bumper, I didn't do the best job of lining things up when I put it on. So I actually ended up being 3/4 of an inch too long over here. Now, probably wasn't exactly 3/4 of an inch. That corner of the grill is actually bumped in a little bit. But in order to make it look good, okay, and for the bumper to be tucked a little more, I had to take 3/4 inch out of there. So when we welded this on before, I actually didn't get to the top, so I had to pull it off anyway. And so now I've pulled that off and welded it up so that all that stuff is solid around the bumper bracket. And hopefully that fixes that problem. I'll put the clip back on. Okay, so I'm getting closer. I found a cable set that over here that should have been plugged in. And now that that's plugged in, I got power over there as soon as I got lights, as soon as I put power over here. Like this. That noise tells me that I'll bring you in a little closer here. So what that does, let's see if I can do this. Follow it around me. So, you can see me here. And there's a wire right here. And when I get all those zeros up top there, that tells me that I can put power on here. And that's where I get my lights from. So hit this. And now I'll put you back here so you can see the lights go on. And now my lights are on. And so what I'm doing is I'm just working it all the way back so I can find where I need to hook this up to my fuse panel. And I'm gonna put the truck harness into the original Crown Victoria fuse panel. And the reason I do that is I'm gonna pull power from there is I can fuse it first off here, and that'll make everything work for the light harness on the truck. And then I can make an engine run with the harness that I have for the car. I'll spin the harness down and I'll make that work. So as long as I can make the lights, the flashers, the windshield wipers would work on the truck. That's basically all I need from the truck itself. The rest of the wiring really isn't going to do much for me. And I should be able to make that work. So now I know where my power is. I can put that into the fuse panel. So basically, I figured out what my harness needs to do now. Truck harness. Now I gotta trim down the actual harness for the car. Make that work. And that's going to be a process because I need to figure out what I need to keep and what I don't need to keep. So that is next. Okay guys, this is the wiring harness. I just pulled it out of the box. I have this box full of stuff. I had it inside the truck. Just trying to find my solenoid for the truck. I thought maybe it might be in here. I know I have it hanging around somewhere. I may have gotten rid of the wiring harness, so I think I just have the actual box. So that's unfortunate, but I think I can make something work. I know where power comes underneath the truck, so on the harness there, so I'll be able to put it in the fuse panel. And there is a fuse panel that's actually in the truck here right now, and I'll be able to find something underneath the dash or under the hood here, a fuse, or maybe one that's empty, and I'll be able to put power to that. I'll just find out how much power I'm able to put into the truck, and I'll put in the wire accordingly. Well, it's a fairly thick wire, so I'll just keep the same gauge and put some power in there and see if I can make the lighting harness work. It should work. Now, there's no real rhyme or reason how I do this. You can see some of the green tape on here. It just kind of tells me what some of this stuff was. So this is right side speaker. So that's obviously going to come out. I'm not keeping any of the wiring for the speaker, for the stereo, or anything like that. I don't know if it's computer controlled, if there's anything in the computer for it. I'm sure it's just power, but I have no intentions of using any of that stuff anyway. If I put a stereo in it, I want to put in a system that doesn't look like it belongs in the truck at all. It's going to go under the seat, and it'll be hidden so that it's not visible, and it'll just hook up to your Bluetooth. I don't have every connector marked, because obviously I don't need everyone, like the light switch, which I plan to take out because I don't think I need to keep any of this stuff, because the light harness, at least my headlights work. I know the taillights are disconnected right now, but that's all there, so I can connect that up, and if there's a break, I'll just rewire it. I'll have lots of extra wire. So that's that. And when I had the video, if you look closely, that little light actually turns on for a brief second. So there was power there. It just, the bulb probably burnt out. So I'm gonna take the whole light harness out of here, I'm thinking. Now, it is going to be a little confusing because I may have to keep the light box, which is this big box here, and this controls so much of it, and especially the gauge cluster is controlled by some of that as well, lights inside there. So I've got a lot of this stuff that I have to remove, but a lot of this stuff has to stay as well. Now the reason why I'm thinning it out is because I'm not going to be able to fit all this underneath the dash. These dashes are just, the truck dashes are so much smaller than the car dash, so to shove that all up in there, and the thing is with the truck you have the wiper motor underneath there with the arms and everything, and you can't put anything in the way of that, otherwise it's not going to work. So I gotta make room for as much as possible. But a lot of this stuff you'll see I'm going to take out. Does it make it much lighter? It doesn't seem to. I'll have 2 buckets of wire probably after I'm done this, and it won't look much thinner. It will be thinner because I will have all these connectors in there. It's a big pile of wires. I don't know, I can't really tell you how I do this, but on one connector, trace it back to source, take it out. And that's basically what I do. You know, if you're in time lapse, you can watch it. The best thing to do when you take apart the car is mark every connector, be diligent, unplug it, find out what it is. And a lot of these components are actually marked with part numbers, and you can Google them and find out exactly what they are. This, I think, is for the steering, I believe. And that goes right on top of the HVAC box inside the car. This is the, I believe, is the airbag module. It says it right on it too, but there's a number on here. You type that into Google, and all these things will pop up. You can tell exactly what it is. So if you haven't marked it, or don't know what it controls, just check it. Find out if you need to keep it or not. Remove the wiring. So all of this wiring that's coming from here goes into this loom. I just got to trace it all the way back to where it goes and take it all out because I don't need any of it. I'm not running airbags in the truck. No intention of that, so that can come out. There's a lot of the wiring that connects from the firewall to this, and it goes into the engine bay. I have no intention of taking out any of the wiring out of here and putting it down. I've done a few of them, and I've never done it on this, and on the engine side of the harness, I've never taken anything out, and you can't tell. So you just gotta make sure that all the wiring is in place and kind of moved out of the way. There's so much wiring underneath there. By taking it out, you're really not gonna make that much of a difference. Even here, I don't know how much, but all these plug connectors and everything all has to have a place underneath the dash somewhere to fit. So if I can eliminate a good majority of them, I don't have to try and find a storage space underneath the dashboard. Plus, there might be power to them, so you gotta make sure that you're not gonna have any shorts, otherwise you can burn your whole truck down. And I don't wanna do that. So, I'm gonna start, and you can watch me tear this whole thing apart. So I got somewhere, not a whole lot. This is, there's 3 harnesses here. So this is one right in here. A lot of that is, what can I see here? Looks like to the rear of the car. Yes, that would be some of the rear of the car and from the front. So that's probably going to be, yeah, some of that's going to be door stuff. A lot of that's going to be eliminated, that harness right there. Not a whole lot of that's going to stay. And then this is a harness right over here, and this is actually my fuel pump wiring, and a whole lot of lighting stuff that's got to come out as well. So, and this is the one that I done so far. It is not complete. I have to pull off that whole box and the harness out of here as well. Now, is it going to thin it down enough that it makes a huge difference? I don't know. What I find is a lot of this loom and stuff is really, really bulky. And if I can take out some of the wiring, it does help underneath the car or underneath the truck dash. It helps quite a bit. It looks like I'm going to take that piece off there as well. That is cut. So that is something that I decided that I didn't need. Yeah, it's just a lot of backtracking and taking everything out. And you can see I use zip ties kind of in places to keep them kind of together. And I can easily pull the wires through that. Makes it easier to deal with it. And because I'll wrap it all up again. And I'm going to wrap it with electrical tape. But I'm going to try not to use the loom. I know the loom protects it, and maybe if underneath the dash it becomes an issue where there's something sharp or something, then I'll put a piece of loom on it and then tape it on after that. But I'm going to tighten it up real tight just so that I can keep it as thin as possible, because that's going to take a lot of it. As you can see here, this is the windshield wiper motor, and I just took all the wiring right out of it. So if I all of a sudden decide to go intermediate wipers, I would have to find some kind of switch or something to make that work, because I don't want to use the column. I'm going to have to rig something else up. I don't know, maybe it's possible. But right now, I'm just going to leave it exactly the way it is with the old truck stuff. And hopefully that motor works. If not, then I'll have to rig something else up, even if it's this one possibly. And just with power, just so that I can use the 2 speeds. And if that's what it is, that's what it is. But anyway, that's it for today. I am done with wiring. Ooh, that is not a whole lot of fun. Taking some of the plastic that comes on the actual wiring harness that I pulled out already. There isn't actually a whole lot of loom on this. There are pieces of loom, and in places I guess there's a little more loom, but on this specific one there's very little. I've taken most of the stuff off, and there is some, I guess, a little further up there, and then over here there's some more loom. But so they didn't use a whole lot in the car itself either. It did not get loom on the whole thing. So I'm gonna take a really close look at it and see if there's any problem spots, put some on there, and it should be good. Here you can see this is the wire I've pulled out so far, and some of the clips and stuff that I'm not using. So that's a pile already. And there's gonna be more. There's gonna be a lot more. I'm taking all the lighting harness right out of the whole thing, so none of that will be in there. Speaker wire, nothing like that. So, well, for today, that's what I got. So guys, lots of wiring to do. Next day, I'm gonna get back at it. But there's just so much electrical you probably want to see. So I'm gonna do this in the background, get this done. We will see you in the next episode, and hopefully at that time we'll have it running. We'll have this bad boy running. Running and driving, I'm not sure, but we'll have it running for sure. And hopefully we'll be able to show that to you. So anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. All the new subscribers that I have, it's fantastic. Hopefully me and Keith will be able to get back on that M100 project in the fall. That one is going to be a lot of work, a lot more work than we thought it was going to be. But for now, we'll try and get this bad boy going, and we'll start on the next one. I got some pretty cool projects coming up. Awesome. Thanks for watching.